Hey, this is Marsha giving a video on basic solar system that I have in my house. Just for information purposes, what I do and how it's working for me. I've had this system, I'm going on 3 years now. As you can see, I have a basic 12 volt system. I just put a basic voltmeter here. It's actually a charge controller, but I use it for the volt meter only. So this side is connected only. This side goes to nothing. This would normally charge the batteries. So this is just reading what the batteries is at. This is about noon today. It's not a very sunny day, but I'm still pulling in 12.73, 76. Okay, so I have an idea where my batteries are at all times. It's just a meter. Here I have a good general outline. What percentage is that? The voltage is gonna be different depending on what kind of system you have. If you have a 24 volt system, these are all gonna be 24 or something. Obviously I have a 12. It's based on 12. It ranges from 12.6 all the way down to 10.5, which would be completely depleted. I put a line here because you want to keep your batteries, if you ever go below this line, which would be 30%, you are going to be gravely taxing your battery system. Battery's extremely expensive. I covered that in one other topic on my blog spot. We're talking about $100 a battery. I have 12 batteries. So add that up. So when you're going, if you want to monitor this very carefully through the day and particularly through the night, obviously that's what you're going to be relying on your batteries for, is the night usage. Your refrigerator running, lights, TV. You're just going to want to gauge this. And after a while, you're just going to know your system well enough on where it's at. It's not going to be like you have to worry about it constantly. The refrigerator just kicked off, so it pumped up to 12.8. When it pulls a load on it, it brings it down. It's kind of a superficial decrease. And then when it's got a charge on it, which this is the charge controller, and this charge controller is showing, it's pulling in 13 volts. What's coming in is 84 volts from the and it's switching it over 24 volts, switching it over to 13 volts into my battery at 17 amps. This is one set of solar panels, and this is another set of solar panels off a Xantrex charge controller. It's a little bit cheaper of a charge controller. It's adequate. This is more of a, more expensive and top of the end, well worth the investment. I got two different systems and two different charge controllers, just because I have so many batteries and so many solar panels that I combined, instead of putting them all in one, I divided it two. So one on end of the bank, one on the other end of the bank. That's just how I designed it. There are so many collaborations. The main thing is safety, doing research, just starting out slow, and then kind of gradually going up. So anyways, this is pulling in 18, 19 amps, even on a cloudy day. It's relatively cloudy outside. You can't really see, but there's the jungle outside my home, but you can see there's really no sun shining. So really, for it to pull in 19 amps, and then this one's probably pulling in, doesn't have a meter on it, unfortunately, because it is the cheaper one, but I can gauge their wattage is similar. So if this is pulling in 19 amps, this one's probably pulling in close to that. I would guess 15 to 19, somewhere in there too. So I can gauge off this what my whole system's pulling in with both these combined. So I'm probably pulling in close to 40 amps right now on a sunny day, or on a cloudy day. So that's why this is reflecting 13. That isn't really the actual state of my batteries, because as you can see, these charges are coming in. So it's artificially elevating this to 13 to bring the charge into the batteries. So this over here would not be accurate until that charge stopped, which would be in the evenings. So as the sun goes down, it's going to land somewhere in here. When you don't have a load on it either, too. See, the loads artificially bring it down, the charges artificially bring it up. So truly, this chart only is in particularly useful when you don't have something charging it or depleting your batteries. It's just kind of like the sun goes down, nothing's really running too much. You have a good general idea on where the status of your batteries are at. This is normally in the evenings about 5 o'clock. There's no more sun, very, very little tiny sun. It'll fall in the 12.5 mark. So it'll be at 90% at that point. So from 5 o'clock to the time I wake up in the morning, I want to not, idealistically, I would love to see my batteries at 12.3, which is 70% charge. So if you have a 24 volt system, you know, this is going to be a different. So like I said, I wouldn't want my batteries ever really to go too far down here, because the more that you drain the batteries every single night, the deeper you drain them, the less life you're going to have out of them. So the best thing to do is skim them right off the top, you know, top it off every day with your solar. Make sure you have enough panels to top the babies off, even on a day like this. Even on a day like this, you want to top off. Now, on a day like this, you can top off if you have enough batteries versus solar panels, right? It's going to be easy. I'm pulling in a nice chunk of energy here. You know, I have 25 amps going in. That's like similar putting to a battery charger on a battery and plugging it in and pushing the 25 amp mark without it using any electricity. So if you want to think about it that way, you can. And like I said, then you still got this one over here pulling in the same. So 50 amps. For you to hook it up, you know, a charge controller, charger in the wall and put 50 amps on a button, you're going to be drawing electricity out of the grid. This is drawing electricity out of the sun and putting it into your battery bank. So this is doing free shit for you, basically. So there now is absorbing. Okay, so this charge controller, like I said, is very advanced. It's about $600 charge controller. But, you know, some things are initial investments, but over the long haul, I mean, if you got free stuff coming in and you're paying a $100, $200 bill a month, I mean, really breaking it down, this is cheap. Okay, so now it's absorbing. So that means that it's getting to, even on a day like this, I don't really have anything running. I have a couple things running right now. Even with those couple things running, and my chest freezer. This is my chest freezer right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is my chest freezer right here, right next to all this stuff. I have my chest freezer plugged in. It's running. You can see the lights on it. And it's still absorbing. Absorbing means it's at the end stage of being fully charged. And it usually goes up to, you know, 13.6, anywhere to 13, a higher 13 to 14. And then that will be the absorption. This one will start blinking 5 blinks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's blinking 5 blinks. So it even tells you right on here how many blinks, you know, to charge. Well, it says in the manual actually. So 5 blinks means it's almost charged. So this one will go solid green when it's fully charged. And then this one will just say charged and floating. So when it gets to that point, then it will just kick off the power automatically. Both these gadgets will kick off the solar energy coming into your batteries because it's charged. And then whatever you draw out of your batteries, it will compensate for that and say, okay, you're pulling. Now I need to start pushing in some energy because you're pulling out energy. So it'll kick in and it'll go, all right, maybe I don't need 23 amps, but maybe I need 15 because you're running your microwave and I need to pump in a ton. It's just automatically sensing all this stuff. It's going to want to keep your batteries topped off no matter what you do. So I could run power tools, air compressors, microwaves. I could thaw my freezer right now. I could do loads of laundry right now, probably even. I would probably want to wait till it says charged, both these. And then after that, which it's only like, what time is it? It's a 10:30 in the morning, okay? That isn't going to take long. You know, if we keep going at this rate, doing exactly what we're doing, you know, in another half hour, everything's going to be completely charged. So at 11 o'clock in the morning, come on, I mean, people haven't even had their coffee and gone for their morning chores yet. I get back, all this stuff is charged on a cloudy day. I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna do laundry. I'm gonna make bread in my bread machine. I'm gonna do all this stuff. And because you know why? It says charged, and this is charged. So it's free energy after that. There's no more energy needed to go in here. Okay, now we're getting to be at the 14.15. So it's at that. This is, I call it the magic mojo. At the 14 point whatever, she's pumping in that and topping it right off. And those batteries are just humming down there going, all right, we're almost done. Top us off. Then we're considered topped off. And then it's going to bring it back down, and what it's going to do is try to hold it around 13. And that's just called a float charge. So like I said, this does not really pertain when this is happening during the day. This is only at night. This is like the authentic charge, you know, voltage, percentage. Okay, so this is just at night. This is a great gauge for at night. During the day, if you got sun and your charge controllers are saying, you know, charged, and this is blinking, whatever kind of charge controller you have, there are very different kinds. Like I said, Outback is a very highly recommended system. If you talk to anybody, it's expensive, but it goes with a different pulse mode than this. This is a modified, or a pulse width mode one, which is like not as efficient. This is a MMPT, which is like, it puts the charge in more efficiently, uses more power from your solar panels. I just recommend it. It does a better job. You know, you got your meters here, you have an idea where you're at. You get to, more you get to know your battery system, it's like a relationship. You just get to know it. And then once you have this friendly relationship, it's a really great relationship because it gives you a lot. So it's a well worth investment to get to know these components. You'll know them well. You'll know your battery, what they can take, what they can't take. You'll just know because you're looking at this stuff all the time. Okay, it's not like all the time, but just at first you're looking at it, gauging it. Okay, now we drop down to amps. Now we're back to bulk again. So it might do that a few times. This is the total kilowatts per today. I only have a half a kilowatt today, and I'm almost close to charge. It depends how much I'm pulling out on how much kilowatts it needs to fully charge. So I mean, you'll know this stuff. I'm kind of getting above and beyond myself here, but you'll get to know this stuff when you get to know your battery bank. All you have to do is pay attention. Hey, how much sun am I getting? I always go by amps. Some people go by volts. I'm getting in 14 volts now at 22 amps. Whatever. And you'll say, okay, I'm getting a lot of sun. This means I'm getting a lot of sun. And this baby's popping away. And then when this is all charged, then that's when I can start using my electricity, because this is just going to hold that voltage right where I need it through the day, no matter what I do. It's all free energy after that. Now, some days this is going to struggle to try to keep up to your demands and depending on how much sun it is. So like if it's a sunny, overcast day, you might want to just go easy. You know, these are the ways to live off grid. You live accordance to what rain you get, what sun you get, whether it's cloudy or not. You do all of your fun stuff, high energy capacity stuff on sunny days. You know, you just do. Or when you're looking at your system going, I'm pretty good. So, let's say I use all my stuff today. This is all fine and good. I'm always happy when I get a full charge. Sometimes I don't get a full charge, but that's okay. You don't always have to get a full charge. Don't go running down, throw your generator on just because your battery's in charge. I still end up in the same mark in the morning. I usually end up in between these two things in the morning. Even though it doesn't fully charge, it always ends up in here. Okay? Topping it off is just a good, healthy thing to do. And do it at least a couple times a week. If you don't do it for a whole week, going on a week and a half, go out there, throw a charger on. And you have various systems and how different charges, and I'll get into that, how I do mine. But I always end up right in here somewhere, no matter what, unless it's a really bad day, or I use a lot of electricity and I shouldn't have. Then it's going to fall in here. And then I'm thinking, oh boy, either I need to shut everything down or I need to put it, which I don't want to do that. So I don't typically have to, very, very frequently. But like this is the mark, this is dangerous. This could damage your batteries. You never want to go below here. This is like, you know, throwing your money away. So you just, because people always ask me, well, what happens when you don't have sun? Would you have to go by candlelight? No, not technically. I could just keep running my batteries all the way down, just not paying attention. And I could have electricity forever. If I never paid attention to this part, I could just keep going and going and going and going, and boom, you know, it's just going to ruin your batteries.